Dear students, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is Arafat mujeeb from FEI Higher Secondary Institute. Today I am in chapter number 6 and chapter is management of natural resources. And in this chapter today my topics are resources and natural resources क्या होते हैं and how we classification of resources or how we classify the natural resources. तो ये मेरा फर्स्ट लेक्चर है नया चैप्टर. इट इज़ 10th बायोलॉजी. उसका जो पहला चैप्टर ये जो है it is my today first lecture about this chapter. Now we discuss about the term resources. resources क्या होते हैं? resources resource होता है anything, कुछ भी, anything that is useful to the man. वो कोई चीज जो यूजफुल साबित हो एक इंसान के लिए, उससे उसका कुछ फायदा पहुंचे, और द थिंग इज useful and it is beneficial to the survival of the man. This is the resource. If this resource is anything and is used by the man directly or indirectly, first this thing is it is modified. If this resource is modified, and then reused by the mankind for its use. This is known as, this also is the definition of the resources. Good. Resources are the substances which are available in our surrounding and is useful to the mankind and take an advantage for its survival. Then that thing is known as resource. If this resource is directly utilized by the man, it is then good. If not, then it is modified, transformed into the in obtaining another product. इससे दूसरा प्रोडक्ट बनाया जाएगा. फिर वो जो प्रोडक्ट बना इससे, इस चीज से जो दूसरा प्रोडक्ट बना, then it is utilized, तब वो इस्तेमाल होता है, then it is still a resource. तो ये एक रिसोर्स की एक डिफिनीशन रही है. जो कोई भी चीज अर्थ के सरफेस पे हो और इंसान के ज़रूरत के लिए हो, फायदे के लिए हो, उसके सर्वाइवल में काम आए, ये या तो डायरेक्टली इसको यूटिलाइज करे या तो ये मॉडिफाई करके, रिनोवेट करके, या इससे कोई और प्रोडक्ट निकाल के फिर यूटिलाइज करे. इस चीज को हम कहते हैं इट इज अ रिसोर्स. एंड इट देन इट बिकम्स, दिस रिसोर्स देन बिकम्स valuable to the, it becomes to the valuable to the man. Then there is economic strength in that. There is economic strength in that resource. तो उस resource में क्या आता है? When it becomes usable and then valuable to the man, and it is less in number, less in concentration, then it increases the economic strength. Then the resources becomes in this way available. Now, if these resources occur naturally, if these resources occur naturally under natural process, अगर इस process, अगर ये under it is manufacturing, it is formation takes place in the nature, and in the nature, we can say in the nature it is processing takes place, it is formation takes place under the natural conditions, then it is called as natural resources. तब हम बताएंगे को these are the resources which is formed by nature under the natural circumstances, under the natural conditions, then this type of resource is known as natural resources. In against of this is the man-made resources. Man-made resources are, they are 100% efficient for the purpose we are utilizing, but there is some drawbacks in the man-made resources, and our limited techniques are not yet developed, or advanced science is advancing. So these days still we are rely on the various natural resources. If you take the examples of natural resources, you take the wildlife, you take the wild forests, you take the example of natural resources as the soil, you take the water as an example, you take the example of the rocks, you take the example of the petroleum, you take the example of the natural gas, you take the example of metallic minerals, metallic and non-metallic minerals. You take a lot of examples are in there. You take the example of the fossil fuels like the coal. In this you can add this example as well. So these are the natural resources. Now we can classify such natural resources on the basis of their availability on the surface of the earth. Therefore, these natural resources are supporting their life on the surface of the earth, and we are directly in contacting with these natural resources, as we never forget this resource, as you should never forget this resource and this resource and this resource. And obviously these are all the examples of natural resources, and all are important to the need of the man, to the need of the living beings. Therefore, some natural resources are some natural resources some natural resources are living, some natural resources are non-living in condition, some are living in conditions. Therefore, now we are classifying the natural resources on the basis of their abundance and availability on the surface of the earth. Classification of natural resources. We can classify them into the two on the basis of, लिखूंगा मैं यहाँ पे एक point, on the basis of abundance and availability on the surface of the earth. इस नताइज पे, इस पॉइंट पे हमने इनको क्लासिफाई किया है. तो क्या है? फर्स्ट वन इज inexhaustible natural resources. Yes, जो कभी खत्म ना हो. And second one is exhaustible natural resource. याद रखिए दो. Now we can classify the natural resources into the two. One is the natural resources, one is the inexhaustible natural resources. then it is not TATI. Inexhaustible natural resources, other is the exhaustible natural resources on the basis of the abundance and availability on the surface of the earth. Then we will separately define the following. Inexhaustible natural resources are, they are unlimited. Number one, this point I will take the here. Inexhaustible, unlimited होते हैं. They are unlimited in abundance, in availability. And second one, inexhaustible, they never exhaust, they never vanished. We can say they never decrease in number. Because of unlimited or cyclic manner होता है इनमें. Cyclic manner, they are cyclic manner, इनमें cycling process होता है. And third one is, and they can be, in this way they can be renewed after consumption. And in this way, there is fourth one point is, therefore they are abundance in quantity. If I will provide the examples in the inexhaustible natural resources, and if they are extensively utilized by the humans, they never exhaust, they never vanish on the surface of earth because of the following properties. And hence there is if there is uncontrolled use of the humans, use of these resources by humans, they never vanish, they never finish on the surface of the earth. I will say the example. I have to mention water, air, you can take the sun, solar energy, tidal energy is there. They are there. Others are also example, etc. The examples: water, air, sun, tidal energies. These are the inexhaustible natural resources. They are never exhausted on the surface of the earth because they are unlimited, because they have a cycling process, and that cycling process is regulated by naturally exhaustible natural resources. Now second, they becomes vanished after utilization. They are not anymore on the surface of earth because of limited presence, limited in quantity. These are the, it is the first point. It is the, in the second I will tell about the, then they are we can say non-cyclic manner. Non-cyclic manner में होता है, there is no cycling process, and then it is inadequate. It is inadequate in quantity and inadequate quantity and in number. अगर ये numbers में होगा तो inadequate होगा, हाँ, ना होने के बराबर, या मतलब with time, inadequate in number, exploited on constant consumption, with time period, with time duration. Their quantity and number is limited. They are the following, because therefore they hence are exhaustible natural resources. Example are the we can say the fossil fuels. If man is indiscriminately used these resources, then it can be vanished, it can be finished. they have no cyclic manner, there is no cyclic phase, then it becomes inadequate in quantity. If there is a constant consumption and indiscriminate use of such resources, then they are exploited on constant consumption. Then there is imbalance between the formation and utilization of such resources. Therefore, exhaustible natural resources can be further categorized into the two. One is renewable natural resources. ये इसी के दो टाइप्स है renewable natural resources. तो दूसरे में है हमने देखा second one is non renewable natural. इसमें आप कुछ रिसोर्सेज जो है वो रिन्यूएबल है क्योंकि उनमें हमने देखा देयर इज साइक्लिंग. अभी मैंने इससे पहले बताया एग्जॉस्ट नेचुरल रिसोर्स में देयर कैन बी साइक्लिक प्रोसेस, देयर कैन नॉट बी साइक्लिक प्रोसेस. जिनमें साइक्लिक प्रोसेस है और धीरे धीरे there is cyclic process and formation is slow and it is still they are the renewable. That means renewable resources can be renewed, it can be replenished back on the surface of earth after its consumption utilization. But formation is slow, constant. Then if we have indiscriminately use, then it sometimes there is imbalance, then it can be categorized into non-renewable resources. If you talk about the renewable, ये इसी के दो टाइप्स है exhaustible natural resources के. तो यहाँ पे renewable natural resources की बात हम कर लेंगे which have by the natural processing can be replenished back on the surface of the earth. There is cycling manner. As the example is the water, as the carbon dioxide, as the oxygen, as you can the example of the soil formation is a renewable resources, and you can take the example of the forests also can be categorized into the renewable natural resources. So these are the renewable natural resources. They are cyclic in manner. These resources are cyclic and slow in formation, but can be categorized, but can say that resources are renewable. इनमें एक नेचुरल प्रोसेसिंग होती है, एक नेचुरल रिसाइकलिंग है जिनको हम बार बार यूटिलाइज कर सके. after it is used they can be we can get it back and back. That means in this way they become unlimited in and available and constant proportion on the surface of earth. And sometimes they become exploited, sometimes they come under the non-renewable if there is imbalance between the formation of such resources by natural processes and utilization. जब utilization और formation में imbalance रहेगा, then they can be categorized into non-renewable resources. Other example I will mention in this are the domestic animals. You can say there is also the domestic animals can also be replenished, regenerated by means of reproduction. Also you can say the groundwater, also you can mention in here the groundwater. You can take the example of the groundwater, groundwater. You can also the example of the metamorphic rocks, जिनकी derivation होती है igneous या sedimentary rocks से. तो ये एग्जाम्पल्स हो गया रिन्यूएबल रिसोर्स. दूसरा होता है नॉन रिन्यूएबल नेचुरल रिसोर्स। नॉन रिन्यूएबल नेचुरल रिसोर्स असल में ये एक टाइप है एग्जॉस्टेबल नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज के। तो हम ये कहते हैं हम दे बिकम्स विद टाइम limited resources. These are the limited resources with time period they are limited in quantity or number, because there is these are the non-cyclic resources. In the natural process there is no cycling phase, there is no, then if there is a consumption, they cannot be balanced with the they cannot be balanced with the formation, as the quantity number is in the earlier time, in the ancient period of time, is the limited quantity is limited. Example is the fossil fuels. Example is the, we can say sometimes example is non-renewable natural resources can be metallic minerals, metallic and non-metallic minerals can also be. ये भी हम एग्जाम्पल को यहाँ पे ये एग्जाम्पल्स हम ले सकते हैं। तो कभी कभार नॉन रिन्यूएबल में सॉइल फॉर्मेशन भी हम मेंशन करते हैं। क्यों? क्योंकि आज देखें हम these days we have high rate of degradation of soil, and then rather than the formation of soil, pedogenesis take the millions of years in the formation of just some centimeters of soil, layer of soils. Then sometimes soil is also can be categorized with the time period, its status is renewable और its status is non renewable. ये टाइम के साथ हम इसको भी हम फिर इस कैटेगराइज में तो हम इसमें डालते हैं। Then there are the non-renewable natural resources. They cannot be replenished once they are utilized with time, with the use. They are less in quantity, they are less in number. Now focus is on what is the management and conservation of natural resources. Management and conservation of natural resources. मैनेजमेंट यहाँ दो टर्म्स आपको मिलेंगे। अब हमें if the natural resources, if we especially talk about the exhaustible natural resources, now here we are here with two terms. One term is the management. Now another is conservation. दोनों सूरतों में हम नेचुरल रिसोर्स को बचा सकते हैं, can be preserved and reserved on the surface of earth. First of all, management क्या होता है? It is the art of managing the natural resources with time when it is one's command. याद रखिए, जब एक ही कमांड में, एक ही दिशा में, एक ही वे में ये इस्तेमाल होता हो, नहीं तो एक रिसोर्स डिफरेंट मल्टीपल वे में यूटिलाइज होती है। मान लीजिए एग्जांपल लूँगा मैं, कोल इज यूटिलाइज्ड इन वेरियस वेज and in various means, thermal power situations, in domestic purpose, in running the industries, factories, in making the coal gas, in making the byproducts, in making there are the multiple use of when the coal utilization, although its production is very less and utilization is huge, and then it undergoes exhaustible natural resources, and it is also a non-renewable resource in nature. then here is a decline, then we have to manage it properly, and we should then there is a concept of conservation. First we have to manage क्या है, हमें ऑल्टरनेटिव रिसोर्स लगाने हैं कोल के बदले, सनस, टाइडल एनर्जी, जियोथर्मल एनर्जी, वट एवर ऑल्टरनेटिव यूज ऑफ सोलर रेडिएशंस हम ये यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं, वी कैन हार्नेस दीज एनर्जीज। तो कोल को हम मैनेज कर देंगे एक ही यूटिलाइज हो, जियोथर्मल या थर्मल पावर स्टेशंस में खाली इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट करने में को कोई ना कोई एक या दो यूटिलाइजेशन होनी चाहिए। मल्टीपल पर्पस के लिए हम कोल को इस्तेमाल नहीं कर सकते, तो इट विल डिक्रीज इन नंबर इन विद इन नो टाइम। देन देयर शुड बी आर्ट ऑफ मैनेजिंग ऑफ नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस ओनली इन वनस कमांड। एक ही कमांड में, मतलब कोल अगर है authorized, there is an authorized body, there is a concerned body, they should properly manage. Then it is management is therefore named as it is a skillful, or we can say careful. Therefore when you are skillfully utilize it and also carefully you are using it, you are preserving it, then there is a management, then there is preservation, conservation, then there is it is reservation in time. Then there is a conservation जो है इसका definition है when there is proper preservation, protection क्या मतलब conservation में आएगा पहले, यहाँ पे आपको इसको when you are going to preservation and protection from the destruction, नुकसान होने से बचाना, इसको प्रोटेक्ट करना और साथ साथ प्रिजर्व करना है। एंड जुडिशियस, एंड ये ना हम यूज ही नहीं कर लेंगे, नो वो बात मैंने नहीं कही कि there should be judicious use. When there is preservation, there is protection from its destruction, overuse, over exploitation by other natural disasters. It is as we take the forests, it is destructed by in the forest fire. Forest sometimes catch the fire, there is the destruction. We should have the protection. There should be the preservation, there should be according to the wildlife या forest की बात करने की, there is the forest act, there are the national parks we should manage, with biosphere reserves where there is a possibility of preservation by enacting of laws, acts. Then there could be the protection by other natural disasters, by the human activities, over activities of the humans. Then there is also simultaneously, besides there is the judicious use. When there are the three factors, you are accepting the three factors here, it is the concept of the conservation. By means of management and conservation, we can preserve natural resources in its origin state with time. जब आपके पास resource हो, time के साथ you have the availability of resource, then we can say there is proper management, then there is proper conservation of that resource. If you have resource but less in number, less in quantity, inadequate, then there is some mismanagement, then there is lack in preservation, conservation. With time we have then scarcity of such resources. The futures will be out of knowledge. Our futures generation की बात हम कर लेंगे, उनके इस रिसोर्स के बारे में नॉलेज नहीं होगी, and they will not take they shall not be supported by such resource, by that resource, or they will not get the benefit of such resources. Therefore there is a judicious use is very important. Therefore it can be preserved and conserved for a long period of time. Then there is the natural resources, then there are the resources, then there is the possible life, then there is a smooth and convenient life, easier life, when we are another way of conservation definition is that when there is any measures, some measures are taken in order to check the depiction or destruction of natural resources from any natural factors, and it is also referred to as conservation. Now, what are the objectives of conservation of natural resources? Objectives हमारी objectives of conservation of natural resources. नेचुरल रिसोर्सेज को कंजर्व करने के लिए क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव्स, इसके क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव्स है, एम्स क्या है? फर्स्ट, अवॉइडिंग वेस्ट ऑफ नेचुरल, मैं एनआर लिखूंगा इसका शॉर्ट फॉर्म, एनआर, नेचुरल, एनआर मीन नेचुरल रिसोर्स, याद रखिए। इससे क्या होगा, हमारा मकसद क्या होगा इन कंजर्विंग, वहां पहले जो वेस्ट हो रहा है नेचुरल रिसोर्स, उससे हमें